have the phrasal verb to stand out. It's another vocabulary word that we learned from chapter 2 of David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. It's the phrasal verb to stand out. This phrasal verb means something that is easy to see because it is different from other things. Here's an example. Mary, I think I have a picture for this. Wait a minute. Let me get my picture up. Okay, here we go. See, here's Mary. Mary has dyed her hair green. Okay, so now she looks different from everyone else. It's very easy to see Mary because there's something very different about her. We can say that Mary stands out because her hair is green. She's very different from the other people, so it's easy to notice her, or it's easy to see her. Okay, let's get rid of Mary. Bye-bye, Mary. And let's see. Now that we understand dyeing hair green, let's see. Mary dyed her hair green, and now it's very easy to see and notice her. Even if there's a large group of people, it's very easy to see Mary. Mary stands out. Mary dyed her hair green, and now she stands out. Okay, let's try another example of that. John painted his house orange. All of the other houses in the neighborhood are white. So it's very easy to know John's house or to see John's house because all of the houses on the street are white, but John's house is orange. What could you say about his house? It stands out. His house stands out because it's orange and all the other houses are white. Okay, let's see. Let's try another example here. Mark, here's a situation. Mark applied for a job. Now 100 other people applied for the same job, okay? But Mark was accepted for the position. And the reason was he was very different. He had a better education than the other applicants and much better experience. He was obviously different from the other 100 applications, and they hired Mark. What was the reason? Why did they hire Mark? It was very easy to see him when compared to the other 100 applicants. He stood out. Better education, better experience. It was very easy to see him from the others. So they hired Mark because he stood out. They hired Mark because he stood out. How would you make a passive voice sentence with this idea? They hired Mark because he stood out. Could you make that into a passive voice? Mark, change the focus to Mark. Mark was hired. Mark was hired. Mark was hired because he stood out. Because he stood out. Mark was hired because he stood out. Mark was hired because he stood out. It was very easy to see Mark. The other applicants, they were all similar. Mark was very different, so it was easy to see him. He stood out. All right, let's move on to